EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Martin here with your outlook for August 29th, 2019. For your Thursday, we are returning to mostly sunny skies across the region. Lower humidity, seasonable temperatures, and it'll just be a very pleasant day today. Wall-to-wall sunshine expected throughout your day on Thursday. So it will be warmer than it was yesterday. That's because we had so many clouds to deal with. Actually, the last couple of days have been dealing with plenty of clouds. And even though a cold front came through, we are going to raise temperatures behind the cold front, which is seems a little strange, but we are going to have a northwesterly flow that's going to keep us on the cooler side. So next couple of days actually are mostly sunny, and we have a very uneventful couple of days coming. There's going to be a weak front. You can see it barely right here coming through overnight Friday night, late in the day, overnight Friday night more likely, and that's going to allow temperatures to increase ahead of that on Friday. So we're going to be mostly sunny, but temperatures are going to be in the mid-upper 80s for highs from north to south. And then we're going to have temperatures back off a little bit, similar to what they're going to be today here on Saturday, and partly cloudy skies. Now everybody wants to talk about Hurricane Dorian, which we will get into in this video. I don't usually get into an opinion-based type of video. I am going to give you my opinion of this storm in this video. I usually reserve that for the Weather Weekly's videos that are going to start up in November. Those are a winter every Sunday morning during the winter months. I give you my own opinions of things. I usually try to keep these videos very factual and very fact-based, based on what we're seeing. And then I'm going to give you all for a little bit of an opinion on what I think is going to end up happening with Dorian. But in our area, we are not going to be affected by this directly. We do have some Florida clientele that have a vested interest that we have to watch out for. A couple places in the southeastern United States. We're going to keep a close eye on that for them and you all throughout the week. We're not going to be posting a lot of track graphics and things like that, or updating the weather alerts page, because there's not going to be anything that's affecting us locally. But we will have some information to provide in the videos every single day leading up to an eventual landfall, which we do think is going to happen over the holiday weekend. Now, in our weather, again, partly cloudy here on Saturday. On Sunday, we'll have an increase in clouds and an opportunity for isolated to scattered thunderstorms later in the day, more likely to happen overnight, and that's going to continue into the day on Monday. So Labor Day Monday might be a little bit of I don't want to say a total washout at this point yet, but it does look like you have the opportunity for more scattered showers and thunderstorms on the holiday itself. And then once this moves through, we go back to partly cloudy skies here on Tuesday, and then we have another weak front coming through on Wednesday that could give isolated thunderstorms later in the day. And there you can see a big hurricane popping up in the Gulf of Mexico. Wait a minute, how did that happen? Okay, well, let's go back to where we are right now. Here's Puerto Rico. Here's the Northern Virgin Islands over in these areas here. Dominican Republic is off to your west here. This is where the center of circulation is, and I apologize for not having a better image, but this video is done past 11 p.m., so I don't have visible satellite images, which are a little bit more impressive looking than this. This is measuring the cloud tops, and the different colors represent different cloud heights. You can see the cirrus field around this, though. It is well protected, but there is, on the southern side of this system, there is still some injection of some dry air coming into the system, which is not allowing this to completely close off. It's trying, and it has continued to increase despite that in intensity today. And we went from a tropical storm this morning and became a Category 1 hurricane. Became a Category 1 hurricane by, I think, the 2 p.m. advisory, and the latest advisory has this at an 85-mile-per-hour storm as opposed to the minimum 75 it was at 2 p.m. today. So this is now from the 11 o'clock advisory. We have it upgraded to a formidable Category 1 hurricane. Here it is north of Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico, so much hype about Puerto Rico getting slammed, and they were very close. I don't want to say anything about preparing these people for what could have happened. Just some residual showers that are going to be there, but the 6 to 10 inch rainfall projections, as far as projected totals from this system, are going to fall about 5 to 9 inches short, as it turns out, as this system continues to pull off to the northwest and away from the island. So that is good news for the island here, and that little jump it did once it hit St. Lucia, jumped north and ended up east of Puerto Rico, so it spared them the worst, thankfully. So no more issues there locally for the Puerto Rican island, but this is now moving off to the northwest, and this is probably one of the last radar images you're going to see for a couple days until it gets into the range of the Bahamas and then eventually Florida. Here is the National Hurricane Center track from 11 p.m. But again, it's an 85-mile-per-hour storm moving northwest at 13 miles per hour. It's sitting right about here, just north of Puerto Rico. It is expected to maintain its hurricane intensity up in this area here. We'll be undergoing some shearing a little bit from an upper level low. I'll show you that here in a second. So it's not going to rapidly intensify over the next, say, day and a half. But once it gets up here, and once we get into Saturday, it is expected to become a major hurricane during the afternoon hours, and we'll maintain that all the way up to about landfall. Now, don't pay attention to the exact landfall point here. This could end up being anywhere along, that's what this area, anywhere from, the Hurricane Center has it from just north of Savannah all the way down to about Miami as the potential area of landfall, somewhere within there, and that's a 5-day track. This is typically what you see. You see, you have a little cone of uncertainty there, and I agree with that general idea. The days yesterday we're looking at maybe going into the Carolinas. I think that window is closing, not eliminated, but closing a little bit, and you'll see some fluctuation over the next couple of days where this exactly will end up. My gut call on this is it will actually be, right now, I'm going to narrow this down a little bit, because it's the only thing we can do is probability-based stuff right now, not where exactly it's going to hit. I cannot tell you that. Nobody can tell you that. But my gut feel is going to be somewhere between the Space Coast and West Palm Beach. Somewhere between there, I think, is where the most highest probability of landfall is going to be on Florida. And if you'll notice, this cone goes all the way past Florida now and enters into the Gulf of Mexico. And that's because we have several models indicating that will happen. One of them is being the European model. This is looking at a 500 millibar chart. Here is Dorian. There's an upper level low sitting out here that will actually act to shear Dorian as Dorian continues off in this general direction like this until this gets out of the way. Here's the upper level low right here. Counterclockwise flow around the upper level low, so you're going to have winds coming in from the southwest that's going to be interacting with this system as it's trying to pull off to the north and west. So you see this cross, you got a cross here, cross winds, changing direction. That's what shear is, okay? So until this gets out of the way, and it eventually will, it'll move off to the south and southwest and get out of the way so Dorian has a clear path. Once Dorian gets up in this area, it'll have an unabated area of just warm water to take advantage of and very little shear to deal with, so it should be able to maintain intensity and then continue to intensify before landfall, and I think it does that. A lot of this is going to depend on this ridge is going to be building here. If you watch as I move this forward here, you see that upper level low now moving, backing out of the way. Dorian continuing off to the northwest at this point. But look at this ridge expanding to the southwest. This is going to be an eventual steering flow for Dorian as the hurricane makes its way toward the coast of Florida. Stronger this ridge and further southwest it is, puts this a little bit further south. So places like, Delray and West Palm Beach, Jupiter, places like that on the east coast of Florida will be more in line for a direct hit. Okay, if it is weaker or further northeast, like the GFS has it and some others have it, it comes up near the Space Coast or maybe even further north than that. The European actually takes us across the Florida Peninsula, re-emerges into the Gulf of Mexico, and takes a second landfall near Pensacola or somewhere, Miramar Beach, somewhere in that area. Okay, still is a major hurricane. So crosses Florida, re-intensifies over the Gulf, hits again. That is definitely a possibility. The HWRF, this is a short-range hurricane specialty model, has it up here near the Space Coast, Cape Canaveral area. All right, so that's certainly a possibility there too, that we could see something like that, up near Melbourne and the Cape Canaveral area, places like that. Instead, or maybe even further north from there, they're not out of the woods there. Again, that cone of uncertainty that I talked about with the National Hurricane Center goes pretty far, north of Savannah, all the way down to Miami. Somewhere in the middle there is probably going to be where it is. But it's all going to depend on that ridge that we showed northeast of the system that's steering this, because the clockwise flow around the ridge will push this to the west. We do know that. But there's different solutions of how far north this gets along the coastline, and there's so much uncertainty. This is a spaghetti plot running 51 different ensemble members of the European model, and you can see so many different tracks that it has. But the general consensus is somewhere in the middle here, and that's represented by this black line here, which represents the mean or average of all of these, and the operational run is the blue, which is a little bit further south. So there's a lot of different possibilities here. Okay, so we don't want to jump on everything yet. That is the latest we have for you on this system. Again, we're going to continue to update it every single day. As far as our sensible weather, next couple of days look great. We have plenty of time to track this and keep everybody informed of what's going on in the daily videos. But we will not have a weather alerts update for this because it's not going to affect our area directly. That's a pretty good probability that does not happen, and it doesn't pull one of these numbers that comes off the coast. There's just too many things happening to prevent that. One of those most important things is going to be this ridge and where it's positioned. I'm EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Martich. That is your outlook for August 29th, 2019. Have a great Thursday.